Hey, what's up everyone, it's Patrick, and welcome to my guide to Nomad's Elegy on RuneScape 3. On screen right now is everything you need to prepare yourself for this quest. The requirements are self-explanatory, the items needed are just combat-related items, and you definitely have to go all out for this one because the fights aren't too difficult, but they're not easy either. You can bring whatever you want, but if there's anything I highly recommend is a Beast of Burden familiar so you can hold more food, and keep a shield, any shield, in your inventory so you could use the Resonance defense ability, which will help a lot, but do not bring those until I tell you to. You can't bring a follower, pet, or familiar at all in the beginning, but you should still bring combat gear and food. This video is brought to you by the awesome members of my Patreon. If you want access to some exclusive perks, check out the link in the description below. Enjoy the video, everyone. To start the quest, go to the area in Edgeville, shown by a yellow marker on this map. You can get there using the Edgeville Lodestone or an Amulet of Glory. Enter a Soul Wars portal. Speak to Zimberfizz, select option 2, talk about Nomad's Elegy, then accept the quest. Investigate the tent to the east to go inside. Investigate Nomad's throne to the north. Investigate the crystals to the northwest. Investigate the sticky goo to the south. Head a little bit further south and by one of the pillars investigate the strange emissions. After a dialogue, enter Death's Door directly to the north. Speak to Death in his new place and select options 1 and 5. Go to a low platform that sticks out to the northeast. Click on the middle of the floor to embark on the Bloodstained Jetty and select option 1 for yes. After a dialogue, you have to fight off waves of enemies while making sure that 10 out of 10 number at the top stays as high as possible. That number represents the number of goblins you have to protect that are still alive. Sometimes the enemies will just run straight past you, so it helps a little bit if you take an aggression potion so they focus on attacking you instead of the goblins. They're not that strong, but neither are the goblins, so you should be able to tank the hits, but they can't. If you fail because all the goblins died, you can just come back by embarking on Bloodstained Jetty again. If you leave for any other reason or die, you can come back by going to Death's Hourglass by Draenor Village Lodestone, and you should get an option to resume the quest when you enter. If you manage to fend off the first wave, you should be sent to another area where there will be a second wave of enemies. The concept is basically the same. The enemies might just be a little bit stronger. The number of goblins that stayed alive from the last wave will carry over, which sucks for you if a couple of them died, but one good thing is, if you fail this, it will reset it to 10 out of 10 when you come back. So even if you don't get it the first time, the second time should be a bit easier. Your progress is saved, so if you fail and come back, you will start again on the second wave. After being the second wave, there'll be a third wave. The concept is the same as the first two waves. Run around to the other little platform that's sticking out to the west. Click on the middle of the platform to embark on the dusty jetty and select option 1 for yes. Speak to Astrid or Brand standing in front of the castle, whichever one is there. Exit the Lumber Castle grounds and go into the nearest house to the south. Speak to either Korasi or Jessika, whoever is here. Go to the southwest corner of Lumbridge Castle grounds. You'll need 2 free inventory spaces, by the way, if you don't already have it. Eat or drop 2 pieces of food if you have to. Speak to Wizard Greyzag and select options 1, 3, 2, 2, 4, 1. Or you can refer to what's right on screen. Once again, the options are 1, 3, 2, 2, 4, 1. You should have received a memory half from that. Now head to the entrance of the castle grounds. Climb up the ladder to the south. Speak to either Korasi or Jessika, whoever you saved from the previous quest. You should have received another memory half. Use the halves on each other to combine them. Go back to the house nearby outside the castle. Speak to Korasi or Jessika here with her completed memory, and whoever is here should teleport away. Head inside the castle and go up 1 floor using a staircase to the south. Speak to Hazelmere. He teleported somewhere else on the same floor. Just look for him by checking the yellow dots on your minimap. I found him near the northeast corner outside. Speak to Hazelmere again. Go up the stairs 1 floor. Climb up the ladder north of where the bank usually is. Speak to Hazelmere a 3rd time. Head back to the entrance of Lumbridge Castle. Climb up either ladder all the way to top floor. Speak to Hazelmere a 4th time. Go to the building that would normally be Bob's Axe Shop, which is the one outside in the southeast corner. Speak to Hazelmere a 5th time. Run around to the castle to the west side. Speak to Hazelmere a 6th time. Run around to the front door of the castle. Speak to Hazelmere for the 7th and last time and select option 1 for I need you to help me fight Nomad. Go inside the castle. There should only be 1 yellow dot here, which is Xenia. Speak to her and select option 1 for friendly greeting. Climb up 1 floor. Head into a northern room. Attempt to open the chest here and kill Guilt. The key will apparently not drop if you're in a group. Pick up the guilt-written key, open the chest again, and search it to receive a Xenia memory half. Climb up 1 floor again. Go to where the bank usually is. Attempt to open the chest here and kill Shame. Pick up the shame-filled key, open the chest again, and search it to receive Xenia's other memory half. Then use the two memory halves on each other, combine them into a completed memory, and return to Xenia downstairs. Speak to Xenia. Speak to Astrid or Bran outside and select option 1 for yes, I feel the same. Enter the portal and select option 1, yes. Go back to where death was to the south. Click on the war table and select the options right on screen. I'm not even going to bother reading this, it would just confuse you or it's too much to memorize. Click the war table and select the chat options for any two people you want. You need to collect 25 wood and 25 metal here, but the two people you just picked are going to help you. You can assign them to either resource by talking to them and selecting whichever chat option. What I did was put both of them on one resource while I did the other one. They finished and got their 25 first, so then I had them help me by talking to them again and selecting the other option. But obviously, if I finished first, I would have just went to help them. These don't physically go into your inventory, by the way, so you don't need the space. Once you have the 25 wood and 25 metal, leave the area through the exit in the southwest corner. When you're back here, go to that open area to the north where you'll see a blueprint for a battering ram. Click on that to build it. This will take a minute. After building the battering ram, go back to war table. Click on the war table. What you have to do now is stand in front of the battering ram and lead it slowly across the bridge. Slowly meaning you can only stand a few spaces in front of it for it to move. It won't go if you're right on top of it or too far ahead. You ideally want to protect it by killing the enemies in front of you. Your allies will also help you attack them, but you may have to command them first by clicking on them from the interface, then click on where you want them to go to get them closer. When you get across the bridge, get close to the door to begin the next part. In his next room, you now have to get the battering ram to the other side of the bridge so it can break down the door. Breaking down the door takes a few minutes, so this time you have to fend off enemies while it does that, and the battering ram does have a health bar, so you have to make sure that doesn't go all the way down. The bar at the top of your screen is health for the door that you're breaking down. Most of the enemies actually come from the other side of the bridge, so my strategy was to place Death and Zanik on either side of the battering ram so they can help me, and everyone else on the other side of the bridge. Ideally, put them in a straight line or even somewhat straight line to block the enemies from coming through. They don't even have to kill them as long as the enemies don't slip through. Of course, if any enemies do slip through, they will attack the battering ram, so you would have to kill those. It helps to also use aggression potions here to keep their aggro off the battering ram and on you instead. I'm going to put up a screenshot of what it looked like for me towards the end of me doing this. Look at how many enemies there are being blocked off. Trust me, a strategy is great if you do it right. Before going any further, right click the stairs to the east and choose quick leave. Go to the bank, get your beast burden out and fill it with your food, get a shield in your inventory, it could be any shield, get the resonance defense ability on your ability bar. By the way, make sure to set it up on your action bar in a way where it doesn't automatically trigger because you will have to time when you use this. And of course, restock on supplies in your inventory. When you're ready for a fight, head to Death's Hourglass by the Draenor Village Lodestone. Enter Death's Hourglass and select option 2, continue Nomad's Elegy. You may want to watch ahead a little bit before doing it yourself as it is not a safe death, but when you're ready for the fight, you would have to go to the middle of the room where Nomad is. There's only 2 attacks you need to look out for. There are beams of light that come out of the ground, which if you stand in them, it can hit you for a lot of damage really fast. Usually one side Nomad is completely clear of these attacks, so find that side and stand on it, or just run a few steps away from Nomad and wait it out. It doesn't last that long anyways. Another attack is when he says feel the power of Gielinor, and Gielinor, the creature on the bridge, will attempt to literally smack you. I find that this is easily avoidable just by standing within melee distance of wherever Nomad is because he's not going to get hit. It's also usually concentrated in the center of the bridge. You might notice that Nomad will teleport to one side when its attack's about to happen. For prayers, Soul Split is probably best as Nomad's attacks are typeless, so you can't really protect or deflect anything. Other than that, just fight him like normal until his HP is gone. You'll now be playing as Xenia, and you have to basically go around the area killing all the enemies, and they're all weak to specific attacks. The attacks are 3 things at the top, by the way, which I wrote all that info on screen, but realistically, you don't really need to know this. I find that the best strategy is to stand in the middle of each group of enemies and rotate between all the attacks as each one does have a cooldown period. It's best to stay in the middle of each group because each attack can target multiple enemies at once, so it'll allow you to kill them much faster the more of them there are around you. If you die, it is a safe death as you're not actually playing as yourself. They just send you back to the beginning of the room to try again. After defeating all the enemies at Xenia, quickly run away from Nomad to the south side of the room. In the middle to the east are the stairs where you can right click and exit. You now have to fight Nomad a total of 3 more times throughout this quest, but your progress is saved after each fight, so you are allowed to leave and go get more supplies, which is what I'm showing you right now. You simply get back by going back to Death's Hourglass by Draenor Village Lodestone just like before. Enter Death's Hourglass and select option 2, continue Nomad's Elegy. Once again, you may want to watch ahead a little bit before doing yourself, but when you're ready, you would go to the middle of the room where Nomad is. He'll do his same attacks from before, plus an extra one. In this additional attack, he'll teleport you near him on one side of the bridge. Say Face My Wrath and looks as if he's charging up an attack. This can hit you for up to 9,000 damage. The best thing to do against this attack is to switch to your shield, allowing you to use the Resonance Defense ability, which will reduce the damage to 0. This is why you want to time this ability and not let it automatically activate. You have to do this as soon as the attack starts. Make sure his attack is actually finished and you get hit for that 0 before you take your shield off. Other than that, the rest of this fight is the same as the last one. You'll now be playing as Death. You have 3 abilities which in order from left to right are Provoke, Scythe Swipe, and Soul Reap. Basically what you do here is just move forward a little bit and get as close to Gillinor as possible. You're going to use Provoke to get his attention, which he'll try to hit you with his hand. So as soon as you use Provoke, just move a few spaces over to your left or right. Then when his hand's actually on the platform, you want to quickly get close to his hand, use the Scythe Swipe ability, which will release a spirit, stand next to spirit, and use Soul Reap. You're going to repeat this 3 more times on the west side, north side, and east side. You now have to fight Nomad a 3rd time. You can go restock on supplies if needed by exiting through the stairs on the south side and come back through Death's Hourglass. But the fight itself is basically the same as last one, including the Feel My Wrath attack where you have to switch to a shield and use Resonance. One thing he does do different is when he reaches half health, he'll spawn a clone of himself. Unfortunately, there's no way to tell which one is the clone, and a clone does not disappear just by you attacking him. You have to actually beat him. So you can try your luck here and just focus on one target. If you get lucky and it turns out you beat the real Nomad on the first try, the clone disappears as well without you having to fight him. But as I said, there's no way to tell. If it turns out you beat the clone first, you will have to beat both of them. You'll now be playing as Icthlarin, and you might want to watch me do this first before doing it yourself, as it has to be done quick. Basically, you need to run around the room counterclockwise, so from the starting position, you run east and continue that way. And when you do that, you'll see a few clusters of souls along the way. You want to try to get in the middle of each cluster and use the first ability, Soul Release, to try to capture as many of them as possible. Around the entire room, there's a total of 49 souls that you can capture. You do not have to catch them all, but whatever you leave behind will be captured by Gillinor. You just need to have more than him, which is at least 25. Ideally, you do want to capture as many as you can, but it might not be possible because your time is limited. While you're doing this, Gillinor fires a beam of light that circles the room counterclockwise that can hit you for a lot. So you want to try to stay ahead of that by not staying in one area for too long. And if you're a bit too slow and it starts catching up to you, you might want to skip a cluster or 2 along the way. I've seen someone even suggest skipping the first cluster entirely if you're having trouble. Once you have captured the last cluster of souls, watch the beam of light, move if you have to, and wait for it to stop. Turn towards Gillinor and activate the second ability, Deflection Shield. The more souls you capture, the more powerful his attack is. If your attack is strong enough, you'll be able to move on with the quest. If not, you have to do another round of the exact same thing. Run around the room counterclockwise, capture as many souls possible, wait for the beam to stop, use Deflection Shield, and just repeat that until they let you move on. You now have to fight Nomad for the 4th and final time. Exit using the stairs on the south side to restock on supplies if you have to, and come back through Death's Hourglass by the Draenor Village Lodestone. When you're ready for a fight, go to Nomad in the middle of the bridge. In this phase, Nomad will only be using rapid melee attacks. Watch out for Gillinor's hand just like before. Protect from melee or deflect melee, especially combined with the devotion ability, can reduce a lot of the damage. Other than that, it's a straightforward fight. After the fight, you can select whatever chat options you want. Once you're back by the war table, speak to death, select option 1 for I've said my goodbyes. Then for the remainder of the chat options, you can select whatever you want. When that conversation's over, that's going to end the quest, so I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for future videos to come if you haven't already. There's also a link in the description for my Patreon, donation link, Twitter, Discord where you can interact with me. Donations can also be made directly through YouTube now with thanks option near the like button below the video. Anyways, catch you later. Peace.